Okay, so this novel relied on societal standard and expectation of women. Chopin's main focus, Edna Pointelier, I don't really know how to say her last name, is one of many women written in the Awakening to spend her time focused mainly on others, her children, her husband, but she's extremely listless and she's bored. At the beginning of the novel, Edna is a character with little to no interest to readers. She's also described as kind of introverted. She's not really so outgoing. She does not like to be put in on the spot in front of others. Um, However, soon after becoming close to Robert, she was awakened to the idea she had left in childhood, the idea of real love. In both Grand Isle and when the characters move to the city, the husbands view the standard of the wife to be the exact personages of Edna's friend Adele. She's adoring of both her husband and her children. She spoils them. She's extremely beautiful. Edna never spoiled her children. If it did not seem like there was no problem with them, she was not going to be extremely overbearing. This just put her apart from others at the beginning. The very first pages of the novel, Edna is written to have a hobby for drawing, but at the beginning she is said to have said that she does not mind if the pages don't come out like their models. Later, this is the exact opposite. When she finally gets back into the groove of drawing again, she has models and she likes them to be exactly right, and she wants opinions on them as well. However, her husband did not like this action as well as the other actions she would make because she would begin to disobey his wishes and do things he did not like leave her home regularly when visitors typically come. She would reject visitors. She would leave the duties of motherhood to her servants a lot, and she would come back late. Edna married her husband simply for the sake of convenience, a really common occurrence at the time. While she had had a few one-sided loves in her childhood, none of them were returned. For one, and for two, she felt she had to give up on them because women were the ones who got picked. Women were not allowed to pick. When interacting with Robert, she finally realized that this was an opportunity to do something that she had not been able to do before. However, because she had a husband and some children, he felt like he could not infringe on it, and so he left. She was once again victim to her duty as a wife and a mother, and not as a person. Chopin once mentioned that Edna saw Robert as the sun, and Edna's own character was kind of reminiscent to me as the sea. Several times after the sun and the sea would be mentioned, but the sun is always described as too far away. I just wonder if this is an illusion, an intentional allusion to how the sun can never meet the sea but at sunset, and how Edna could never meet Robert seriously. After meeting and interacted with Elsie, she was once again fired up with desire, but whereas with Robert it was a true love's whim, with Elsie it was the absolute need to have a reprieve from her otherwise lackluster daily life. She did not really love him. Okay, so call me morbid, but I actually kind of loved the ending. Edna did end up committing suicide in the sea that she had previously been scared to swim in. It's an allusion to that event at the beginning of the novel in which she swam in the sea despite not really knowing much about it. And she was so scared at first, but she did it anyway. And now, this time, she did it on purpose. She was not scared. She swam until she couldn't anymore. I believe that the sea could have potentially symbolized how far Edna would have gone to escape, how much she was willing to sacrifice. As stated earlier in the novel by Edna, I would give up the unessential, I would give up my money, I would give up my life for my children, but I wouldn't give up myself. You know, Adele had just told her to think of the children when Edna visited her, and I think a big reason why she committed suicide is she gave up her life for her children because she could not go against her duties as a mother anymore, but she was not okay with giving up herself, so she could not stay with the family.